Hey everyone, how are you? Nights with Ping here for the late show. Let me get set up a little bit. It's good to see you all. I've been reading the comments in the chat. Let me get set up. I'll turn the camera on. Hey guys, how are you? All the way out from Melbourne, Australia. It's good to see you all. I look a little tired. I am a little tired to be honest. I It's been a long day. It's been a long couple of days sitting at a hospital. Sherry Runs Late says, "Miss listening to you the past couple of evenings, but hopefully Mrs. Ping was in fantastic hands. Who knows exactly what she needs?" Yeah, it went all right. She just maybe needs a follow-up procedure. What's going on with my camera? Hey, camera, act good. Be my friend. Uh, it sounds like she needs some other procedure. We'll see. We'll see. I'll see. She's here. She's alive. Say hi.
Hi everyone.
That's all you get. That's all you get. I don't even know if you heard all that. Reby, hey Reby, how are you, my friend? Let me just start from the top. Flying DJ was here. Angela, good to see you, my friend. Yeah, she's doing all right. Emily Knob, hey my friend, thank you for your email the other day. Peekaboo Cockatiel, it's good to have you guys. Gambler, Laura T, she says love to Mrs. Ping. Sherry runs late, hey my friend. Says 476 people in Trisha's chat tonight. Wow, I'm glad. I'm very happy for her. I kept saying to come to your channel and subscribe. We did get a couple of new subscribers, Ava Bell and SP Mama 444. A couple of new subscribers. I appreciate them. To come over and have a look at the true crime. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I will send my love from you to her. And Insightful One typed a sweet message. I didn't get to see it. I'll talk to Insightful One after the show tonight. I'll see what she said. Yeah, the hospitals are pretty exhausting. I think it's more just the waiting around and not knowing. I think that kills your energy. So this guy, I spoke to you about him the other day, likes to beat up women. Apparently, someone told me it was his mom, the woman that you see in that photo. And I'll replay everything for you. But for the people who didn't see it, this guy was on the run. You may know him. He was on Home and Away and Neighbours, those type of Australian soap TV shows. And he beat the crap out of a woman. That's all they would say. Now, some people contacted me saying it's not his girlfriend, it's actually his mother. And that's why she'd been attacked so many times, because she was in the home with him. And that's why she knew he was having a mental health breakdown or whatever. But he was arrested on Thursday evening. We didn't have a show that night, so I wasn't able to tell you. But it says here, Victorian police confirmed on Thursday evening that the 30-year-old who was wanted on a warrant has been taken into custody. It comes after footage emerged of him assaulting a woman by dragging her to the ground and stomping on her head. Now, I can show you a little bit of that. Trigger warning for the people who, you know, don't or can't listen to that type of thing due to past trauma. Let me try and find the old footage of it for you. Hold on. I'm a little rusty. See what happens when you go one day away? You get rusty. All right. Now it's a little blurry to protect the identity of the woman, but you can see here these triangle marks within her side of her head. This is from a pair of Van shoes that he stood on and pressed on into her face, and he damaged her, gave her, they called it a oedema? Is that what they called it? Gave her some injuries, and she had to stay in hospital. So images of the woman's injury from the alleged attack show bruises on the side of her face that bore a similar resemblance to a pattern of Vans sneakers that the alleged offender, Pledger, owned. And he was remanded in custody after his arrest on March 27, but was bailed on Monday last week to go to a mental health assessment at the Royal Melbourne Hospital. And he fled from there during the day. He took off after it was very early in the morning. He got dropped off about 3 a.m. About 9 a.m., 6 hours after he got dropped off there from custodial authorities, he just decided to walk out. He was like, "Well, I've waited here 6 hours and I don't wanna wait anymore, so I'm just gonna go." And he went on the run for about 4 days, and they finally caught him. I will show this video. It's somewhat graphic, so triggery warning, but here's the footage of him when he was arrested. See this grabs her and then drags her to the ground from her ponytail or her shoulder, and then drags her into another room. It's confronting footage. You can hear her screaming out. It's confronting. I mean, to see a woman, doesn't matter who it is, doesn't matter if it's a male, female, it doesn't matter if she's mom, daughter, whatever, it's really scary to see someone hurt a woman, that easily. Just grab her and drag her into another room. Not what we like to see. Glad he is back behind bars now. Hey, Jenny, good to hear from you. Jenny says he needs a mental health assessment, but why wouldn't they have had better security around him? Apparently, the judge on Monday who issued the bailing of him to go to the mental health assessment, one of the judge's concerns was that the people in the hospital don't have any authority over him. They have no power to stop him from leaving, and that was one of the judge's original concerns with granting the order allowing him to go get a mental health assessment at the Royal Melbourne Hospital, because they just don't do that. And he did exactly what the judge thought he would do, which was hang around and then sneak out when the opportunity presented. And he did that. But now he's behind bars now. I wanted to bring you that update since I wasn't on yesterday. And he has been arrested following a 3-day manhunt across Melbourne. I don't know where they were, but it just says that they finally found him, and he's back in custody. Guys, hold on 1 second. Apparently, when it's a weekend here, my cats decide that they want to play up while I'm doing a show. Ruby says they could have put him in a locked up ward. I'm not sure why they couldn't do that. Now, normally when you're under arrest in Victoria, you'll go to a hospital wing, and they have like a whole part of the hospital or prison that has a medical wing. And I don't understand what the difference is. I mean, I've not ever been in jail, so I don't know. All I know is that it had to be done this way for some reason. It doesn't explain in the original article about him either. It just says that he had to go to the Royal Melbourne Hospital to get it done. It says here, as you can see, I'll show you. Earlier on Tuesday, Pledger was escorted by police from jail to the Royal Melbourne Hospital near the city CBD about 3:30 a.m., very early in the morning, to undergo a mental health assessment. But a court heard he'd still not been seen by doctors about 9:10 a.m. He's alleged to have just got up and walked out in breach of his bail conditions. So it sounds like the judge bailed him for 24 hours to allow him to get the mental health assessment. The fact that he had bail seems to be that he had some sort of conditions allowing him to at least be free for a small amount of time to get this done. I don't know why they didn't just keep him in the medical wing. I'm not sure. Probably never. The judge was pretty pissed off on Wednesday. He basically said the chances of him ever granting this type of order to an offender ever again is almost zero due to how bad it went this time. So I think if you ever get that judge, he's never going to grant you an order for bail to go get a private mental health assessment. You're going to have to wait in prison and get it done through the system they use there, which I have heard takes a while. It takes quite a while. It can take a week or two. So maybe that's why they did it this way, so it could be faster. Hey, Mello, how are you? Good to have you back. Ruby says they have lockup wards in psychiatric hospitals or wards of a hospital. Yeah, I don't know about Royal Melbourne. I know there's 2 others that have a jail wing in them, like completely secure. You can't get in and out of there. Like it's locked down. They normally take prisoners who have cancer or you know extensive things that need to be treated at a proper hospital, they normally take them to these 2 hospitals. Let me look it up. Royal Melbourne Hospital Secure Jail Facility. Let's see if they have one. Jail Facility. Mm, they have a psych ward. I mean, acute inpatient unit, but do they have a jail assessment prison? I don't see one here. The Royal Park. I don't see one at the moment, but they do. There is a secure psychiatric facility at Broadmeadows. I don't know if that is connected. I can't see one for RMH Parkville. So let's see if they have a secure unit. Secure unit. No, this is about the only thing that comes up for them. They have one called the RMH Security Officers at the hospital provides site security 24 hours a day for patients, visitors, and staff. Personal belongings brought into the hospital by emergency patients or accidentally left behind by ward or clinic patients are safely stored in the security office. I think that just means they have security. Don't think that means anything. Yeah, I've never been in jail either. Jenny Allison said, "Police can't escort prisoners if they are supposed to be in custody. I'm not familiar with Australian law." This is not normally how they do it. I haven't seen it done this way before. Normally, if you're locked up, and you ain't getting out unless someone bails you. But they use the word bail in this particular thing, and that says to me that he had some sort of arrangement that was allowed. See it. He says here. He was supposed to come back the next day to face court, and he was supposed to have that assessment done. That was supposed to then allow him to either have his bail conditions either tightened or released, and allowing him to do other things. So I don't. Pledger was escorted by police from jail to the Royal Melbourne Hospital near the CBD at 3 a.m. in the morning to undergo a mental health assessment. I'll look more into this and I'll try and find out. And I will try and figure out why that took place for you guys. I want to move on because we've got a million things to do and catch up on over the last 24 hours. I haven't been on since Thursday, Wednesday. I can't remember. We haven't been on in a while. So let me look into why that arrangement was allowed to exist and what it meant for him. And because it's weird that they escorted him originally, right? Very strange. I've never seen that arrangement before. Let's see. There's just not a lot of information like about his actual court order. In order to court the next day. So the actor was granted bail on Monday for a court-ordered hospital assessment and had been ordered to return to court the next day, which would have been Wednesday. When he failed to show up, Victoria Police issued a warrant for his arrest and asked for the public to help find him. So yeah, he was granted bail on Monday, but then why did the police have him at 3:30 a.m. in the morning? Unless the police went there and picked him up and were like, "We have to take you to the mental health assessment," and they just dropped him off, and they were like, "Hey, make sure you turn up for court tomorrow morning." That may have been what happened. I have seen that before. So, all right. Marlon Corson says that Nab needs help. That man. Okay, yes, he does need help. To stop attacking women. Anyone who attacks women, I don't care if you're mentally unwell. I don't care if you have 5 Snickers bars in your pocket. I don't care if you attack women. You're like literally the lowest of low to me. I don't care who you are. Don't care what your condition is. If you attack women, then you need to be dealt with. So you stop attacking women, or you don't have the opportunity to be around women that you could attack. All right. I want to have a little break from true crime for 2 seconds. I want to show you this. I've been following this all morning, and the images coming out of Lincoln, Nebraska, and Iowa are just stunning. Like, I haven't seen anything like this in a long time. Tornado went through the area. You can see it looks like literally a gas explosion went off or something. There's not much left, and there's other ones. Look at this thing. It's gotta be more than a mile wide. You got a giant wedge on the ground, and these were everywhere all today. So if you lived in any of these areas in Nebraska, if you live anywhere in Nebraska or Iowa, I mean, look at this thing.
Yeah,
Look at this thing. Coming over a hill here. Wiped away a house on the top of the hill. I mean, it's just amazing. Look, another one, giant wedge. You can see the right side here, barely see the left side on the other side. I mean, and then you get something like this. Look what's left. Like, this is a slab right here. This is a concrete slab, and everything else has been wiped away. Same with the one next to it. Concrete slab. All that's left is the foundation. That's pretty bad. I don't know what this will end up being rated. Could be EF3 or higher. We'll see. But there was one video I wanted to show you. Look at this. Look how low to the ground that was. You can see this rotating mezzo here. I don't know if this is a wall cloud or a mezzo, but we'll see. Then this giant wedge down here gets underway. But this is not the one I wanted to show you. Where is it? There was one with this like vortices dancing across the road, and I quickly wanted to show you before we move on. There was such a great footage from someone, a local news anchor, I think. Here we go. Look at this.
Right now, major tornado, multi-vortex satellites. It just destroyed structures. Unsure protecting on to hit the top of Harlan. Tornado emergency.
So you see here in the center, just right of the center of the screen, you have this what looks like a little tiny tornado. It's what we call a vortice or multi-vortex tornado. Normally when the tornado hasn't fully condensed or doesn't have a lot of crap in it. Look, it looks like it's just picking up dirt right now. You don't get that solidness of it. The more it picks up, the more junk and homes and trees and dirt, the more solid it'll become. But in these stages here, you can sort of see through the tornado, and you get these vortices that spin out from the main parent circulation here. And these things, I've seen them flip cars and do immense damage. There is some research to suggest sometimes these things can get really, really quick, sometimes faster than the main circulation. So they can do quite a lot of damage. But this footage is just amazing.
Right now, major tornado,
all circulating. You can see it's all circulating all around like a carousel.
Vortex satellites. It just destroyed structures. Unsure protecting on to hit the top of Harlan. Tornado emergency.
Tornado emergency, and I posted that on my timeline earlier today about the tornado emergency. So I hope if we have any friends out there, you guys are doing better and your towns recover. That is brutal. Brutal. Showruns Late says, I detest tornado season. Me too. I mean, not me too. I love tornado season, but Jenny says, I got this notification. It was near Des Moines, Iowa. Yeah. I think it was Des Moines, Iowa was one that was, what was the town name? It was a town name that's very short town name. Minden. Minden was the town that got smacked by this thing. Like, you see that coming towards you, you're probably going to have a relocated house. This thing will do some damage. Something like that. Like, that's amazing. You see that entire hook echo from underneath. Pretty cool. All right. No more storms. Although I could spend 2 hours here talking to you about it. It's not what we do here on this channel. All right. I want to bring you more information from Sade Robinson. We've spoken about Sade Robinson a lot recently, and I have new information. I'm just going to grab a different link for you. The details are not good. I hope you guys forgive me for showing this to you. Alleged killer of student Sade Robinson had sex dungeon in his basement with a sling, restraints, and handcuffs. Hey, we're not yucking anyone's yum here, but you want to murder women and dismember them in your home? We can be a bit weirded out. It says a sicko accused of killing and dismembering 19-year-old college student Sade Robinson had a sex dungeon in his basement of his Milwaukee home, and authorities found blood smeared on the bed and walls of a staircase leading to the creepy cellar. Ugh. It says, disturbingly, the blood found at Maxwell Anderson's property is not from Robinson. We learnt that the other day. So whose blood is it? Is it another victim that he hurt? I don't know. It says here, in the basement, the creep had a sex sling, restraints, and handcuffs. Although the basement had small windows, a neighbor told the Post they were covered up so no one could see inside. Here's a photo of him in court the other day. And here's his victim, Sade Robinson. She was dismembered and her body was scattered around Milwaukee, unfortunately, and they still have not found all of her. I think a leg and part of her torso was found last week. And yeah, that poor lady and her family. They said a neighbor who often walks their dog along the streets of the normally quiet, tree-lined middle-class neighborhood said, there were some sort of blinds. It never crossed my mind that there could be something like that here. It's just sick and depraved, and I can't stop thinking about it. I worry about you if you can't stop thinking about it. Says here, Anderson, 33, has been charged with murder, arson, and mutilation of a corpse. He has pleaded not guilty on Monday last week. Authorities say Anderson killed and dismembered 19-year-old Sade Carlina Robinson after their first date on April 1. Surveillance video shows Anderson and Robinson seemingly having a good time at a restaurant and bar. She was never seen again. Her family, actually searching for her, found her car and then a blanket with her photo on it. And I think when they found that blanket, they were like, something bad has happened to our relative. You know, why would her blanket just be here near a burnt out vehicle? And then they found the leg, and then they found the body parts, and then they found Maxwell Anderson. It says here, authorities conducted a welfare check at Robinson's home on April 3rd, but found no trace of her. Later that day, they found her sawn-off leg on the shores of Lake Michigan. Other body parts have been found in various locations around Milwaukee. Some of her remains have yet to be recovered. They are still searching for some of her, unfortunately. It says on April 4th, the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office executed a search warrant at Anderson's home. According to the probable cause affidavit, officers found blood on bedding and walls leading to the basement. Several gas containers were located in the garage and storage area. And it says, while Robinson's blood has been ruled out, it's unclear if the sample could match Anderson's DNA. That's what I asked. I was like, maybe it's his blood from cutting her up or killing her. You know, killers often slip on their instruments from the blood and then they cut themselves. It happens quite frequently because they don't realize when they're using a sharp implement that blood is quite slippery, and then they'll slip and then the knife will go through their hand and then they contaminate the crime scene or contaminate blood samples of the victim with their own DNA. Happens quite a lot. It says here, according to the complaint, authorities have much more evidence against Anderson, including phone records and surveillance videos, which place him in the locations where her remains were dumped. Yeah, they caught him everywhere because of her phone and his own phone. Also interviewed a witness who allegedly spotted Anderson as he set fire to Robinson's 2020 Honda Civic on a street in North Milwaukee. The remains of clothing that matched the outfit she'd worn to the date were found scorched inside the vehicle. Yeah, so he declothed her in death and then chucked all her belongings in the car and then set fire to it, thinking that somehow that would obscure him from being the perpetrator. It did not. It just made him more, more easily to find, more witnesses, more people that saw him do it. We always say on this channel, no one ever said you had to be smart to be a criminal. A lot of these criminals do very dumb things that allow them to be caught, which we should be thankful for. It says here, Robinson, who was studying criminal justice at Milwaukee Area Technical College, agreed to the first date with Anderson and told an employee at her apartment building she was excited to go out with him. That's such a shame. Excited to go out with him, and then she was murdered a few hours later. As authorities continue to piece together the last hours of Robinson's life, Anderson's father issued a statement of condolence to her family. He said, on behalf of myself and my family, I would like to express our deepest sympathy and heartfelt condolences to the family and loved ones of Sade Robinson. We are shocked and devastated by her senseless death. But the Robinson family is grappling with their anger and confusion. Yeah, they have been screaming out at court hearings and anytime they're near Anderson, I get it. They killed their future and their daughter. I don't blame them for screaming at him. It's the minimal you would be able to do, right? They're not gonna allow you to attack him, so I think victims should be allowed to do that. Yell at him, say whatever you want, go nuts. All right, let's listen to this little update on Maxwell Anderson's preliminary hearing, if it'll play. Play from
Day at 5, the man accused of killing a Milwaukee woman and dismembering her body pleads not guilty.
Prosecutors say Maxwell Anderson killed Sade Robinson and then mutilated her body earlier this month. Aaron Maben is live with more from today's hearing. Aaron?
Ted and Mary, this was a quick, straightforward preliminary hearing. It lasted just 4 minutes. One of the big takeaways is Maxwell Anderson will head to trial for the killing of Sade Robinson. This is a gruesome, complex case that began with a first date that somehow went horribly wrong. Accused killer Maxwell Anderson walked into a Milwaukee County courtroom for a preliminary hearing Monday afternoon. Prosecutors say he killed Sade Robinson before dismembering the 19-year-old's body earlier this month.
I have read the criminal complaint. It does state probable cause. Waive reading?
We do. The 33-year-old waived his right to a preliminary hearing and will head to trial.
Did you also understand that by waiving that hearing, you are conceding that the state can establish probable cause and you will be ordered to stand trial?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anyone make any promises to get you to give up your hearing?
No, Your Honor.
This is Maxwell Anderson's first court appearance since the torso and arm believed to belong to Sade Robinson were found along Lake Michigan last week. Anderson was arrested April 4th, 2 days after someone found Robinson's leg at Warnemont Park in Cudahy. A criminal complaint says investigators used surveillance and cell phone data to track Anderson down. Prosecutors say the two went on a first date when Robinson was killed. What led to the death and a motive are not clear.
This gentleman, I believe, moved very calculated through the city and was intentional about where he placed the body parts, the car, setting it on fire, and just getting on the bus as if it was just an ordinary day.
April Bentley was one of several people who attended the hearing to support Sade Robinson's family.
I needed to be here to support the family, even though they weren't here. I stand in the gap.
Earlier today, we got our hands on a brand new amended criminal complaint that reveals the blood that was swabbed on the bedding in the basement of Maxwell Anderson's home is not a match for Sade Robinson's DNA, but prosecutors did not say whose blood that is. Maxwell Anderson's next court appearance will be May 16th. Ted?
Aaron, we heard from him in court today answering the judge's questions. What was his demeanor like overall? Did he look around looking for his family members? Was he looking around at whoever was there to support Sade Robinson?
And Ted, we just looked back at that video, and it just looks like he walks in the courtroom and he stares straight at his attorney. And then when he sits down, he stares straight at the judge. When we heard from him today, that was some of the most talking we've heard from Maxwell Anderson, Ted, since this all began.
You know, when these guys often go to court, they become very silent, and it's like, well, you don't want to comment on your handiwork? Like, you cut a woman up and dumped her all over Milwaukee, and you don't have anything to tell anyone? I find that very telling. It tells me that they are a coward, and be more proud of your handiwork. Tell them all about it. Tell them all about what you did. Why not? Hey, Shad, how are you? Good to have you. Good to have you here. Marilyn Landis, good to have you here too. Uda's here as well. Catatonic. Who else did I see? Eva Alaska was here as well. Bring bear spray and a switchblade on all dates. That is a very scary proposition, but also also probably good advice. We did have a thing here the other day. Where is it? Petition for women to carry. There we go. So in Australia, it is illegal for women to carry pepper spray in most locations in Australia, except for WA. I think WA it's legal to own it, but not in anywhere on the East Coast. So there's actually a petition going around asking for women to be able to carry pepper spray to defend themselves, and I think it's a great idea. I'm going to post that in the chat again. You don't have to be from Australia to sign it, but if you want to help your Aussie female buddies out, sign the link for me. I would love to see women be able to carry this on them. I mean, I think it would help a lot if it saves just one woman. If it protects her from one violent offender, it's worth it. Maybe there's women we read about on these type of YouTube channels that we would never have to read about if they were able to carry some sort of defensive spray or weapon or something. You know, I would like to see that change for women and men. If men want to carry it, they don't feel safe walking at night, go for it. Uda says, no pepper spray allowed in the UK either. I didn't know that. It doesn't look like it's jumped all that much. Thank you, Jenny. I appreciate that. I hope it changes down here. I would love to see women just be able to have another thing to help protect them from predators, or hey, maybe even in a DV situation, a woman would have this in her handbag and be able to spray it at her partner who's trying to attack her, and it gives them an opportunity to run away or whatever. I don't care. It says here, we propose that the Australian government look into and reconsider laws surrounding the right to carry pepper spray for those with no criminal history of violence. Currently, pepper spray is legal to carry and use for self-defense in Western Australia, but illegal in all other states and territories. For many incidents that could have saved lives, if something doesn't change soon, the inability to carry pepper spray may lead to the loss of more innocent lives and assaults. I think that's a good point. It may not be just for people who are murdered, but there's women who are, and men. Hey, men get attacked too. There may be women out there who their entire lives change because of the way someone brutally assaulted them, and their quality of life and their life changes forever. And maybe if they had a way to fight back that was quick to access, or in a keychain or something like that, they wouldn't have to go through that, and it wouldn't have to alter the quality of the rest of their life. And I would like to see that. Thank you, Miller. I appreciate it. That is awesome. I really appreciate that. Anything we can do. Like I say, we read a lot on this channel. Several times a week, I read stories, and it's like, a woman was found in a ditch in Texas. A woman was found murdered in her home by her lover. A woman in the UK was bashed to death in the middle of her freaking housing estate or something. And I'm like, I'm so sick of reading about women being killed. I really am. I'm sick of it. And I'm like, what can we do about it? Maybe giving them another defense mechanism can help something. Maybe, calling out the men who think it's okay to attack women will be another thing we can do. Even men who are not murderers, but it escalates, right? One time they just hit a woman. They get away with it. The police don't arrest them. They don't get charged. So the next time they punch her in the face instead to give her a black eye and a fractured eye socket. The police still say, oh, it was a lover's quarrel. Don't worry about it. And then they escalate. And then the next time he chokes her out, she blacks out. And then, it gets worse and worse from there. And maybe if we can call it out those early stages, we can stop it from eventuating into a murder or something like that. Right, but we've seen it time and time again where women were like, hell yeah, he's been attacking me for years, and I've reported it to police, and the police have been here. Like, how many times have we read a story where they're like, the man was known to police, and there have been calls to this property over the last 24 months. They've been out here 12 times for a domestic violence related incident. So and then eventually she's killed, and then we all feel sad, and then nothing ever changes, and then we read about the next woman the next week, and then we forget about whatever that woman's name was, and then we speak about, the new lady, and then we're 50 women in July in the year, and then, you know, crime of passion equal murder. Yeah, it's true. Actually, some jurisdictions now, you cannot use crime of passion as a defense. They're starting to take that away from certain regions, that you won't be able to use that as a justifiable homicide anymore. I know in Australia, a number of years ago, they took away the gay panic defense, which is where you say, "Oh, I'm a straight guy, and this dude came on to me and tried to, have sex with me or whatever, and I killed him because I'm such a homophobe that, like, anything to do with gay people makes me murder people." They took that away. You can't use that anymore in a lot of places, especially in Australia, and they've taken that sort of thing away. There was a few notable cases in the last, decade or so that people actually got away with murdering people. And now they're saying that is not a justifiable reason for homicide. It's not they're saying like the actions don't weigh out into murder, if that makes sense. They're saying, maybe you punch them in the face or something. Okay, it's assault, but you're like, okay, I was scared of the situation. But killing someone is not a okay reaction to that type of situation. Laura Thomas said the lady in my first story had that happen nine times before. Yeah, she'd been attacked multiple times by him. I think they said it was in 1 year she'd been attacked. What was it? Hold on, let me find it. What's his name? Orpheus Pledger had been arrested after a 3-day manhunt. I can't remember. I think he'd attacked her like multiple times in 1 year. Like Laura was saying. I was just trying to find out how many. Yeah. So the woman who can't be named for legal reasons had been attacked 9 times since 2021. And all by the same dude, obviously, Pledger. And, he obviously has a propensity for attacking. If it is his mum, I don't know if it is, but a couple people contacted me saying it wasn't a girlfriend, it was his mum, but I can't verify that. If he's able to do that to his own mother, how old is this? How old is this guy? What is he? 30 years old. He's a 30-year-old man. And he looks like a grown dude. Look, there you go. He looks like a grown dude. He's a grown man, and he attacks if it is his mum. He attacks her 9 times in a few years. I mean, it's ridiculous. She claimed to police, if you don't do something about this, he is going to kill me eventually. I think she's right. I think he will. I think if they don't start taking him away from her or protecting her, he will eventually kill her. I mean, we saw in that video, he had no qualms about just dragging her and grabbing her by the hair and pulling her into another room and then standing on her face. I mean, it was all caught on camera, and he knew there was a camera there. Shows you how brazen some of these men can be. Really is. Says here when he was at court, we're talking about Pledger now, that a 000 call made by his victim warned police that he was in the midst of a mental health incident. The alleged victim was heard saying he is coming before the line cut out. I mean, that must have been frightening to hear for the 000 operators. They must have been like, if we go there, is she going to be alive? Is she going to be dead? No idea. It sounds like something from a horror movie. Says here. So this is interesting. Miss Sparrow, who also opposed an inpatient mental health assessment order made during a bail hearing last week, as staff can't physically prevent him from leaving, and the magistrate Foster said that was the concern that he had if he granted the bail order, allowing him to go seek that mental health appointment, was that the staff can't physically prevent him from leaving. And his lawyer pled black and blue that, he'll be there. He'll do it. He's a good guy. He just had a hard day. You know, he doesn't mean to hurt this lady. He definitely wants to get better, and he'll do the assessment, and then he'll be in court the next morning. Well, no, it didn't happen, and that judge was pretty upset. Jenny says, I hope they give him a harsh sentence. Otherwise, you're right, he will do worse. Need to look at what is in not just his interest in making him get better if he is mentally sick and has a propensity for attacking women when he's having an episode. Got to look at how do we keep the victim alive. It's not always about dealing with the perpetrator. How can we keep the victim alive? And what needs to be done to make sure she is, you know, not killed. Mello says she needs a protective. I think she has one. I think from what I understand, she has one. Like we've said in this channel a few times, protective orders are literally just pieces of paper. They do absolutely F all. They do nothing. They are literally just, they don't really do anything. I mean, we've read so many times where women have been, she was granted a protective order just 24 hours before she was murdered. You know, the same day she was murdered, she was given a protective order. Wasn't there one we read about like 3 days ago where a woman had just got a protective order and she was murdered? I'm trying to think. I know I'm a little rusty because I've been off for 2 nights. Hold on, let me find it. We were speaking about a woman, I'm sure of it. And she was killed. Let me go back through my notes for a second. This is interesting. We're going to talk about that after this. Was it Gillian Kelly and Veronica Butler? Maybe. Maybe it was Veronica and Gillian. Maybe it was those two. I don't know. I'll find it. I don't want to keep holding you guys up and making this show very boring. All right. You want to talk about the Long Island serial killer? I love talking Gilgo Beach. Let's do an update from Long Island.
Investigators have been here most of the week, and there's a rather large police presence. We're at a firehouse here in Manorville, and you can see back here behind me that there are command posts for both the Suffolk Police Department and State Police. And it appears that police arrived here earlier today than they had in the past. We also saw this morning the commanding officer of the Suffolk County Homicide Unit. So authorities are still being tight-lipped about what exactly they're looking for, but sources tell News 12 the search is connected to the Gilgo Beach investigation. Today, we spotted several state troopers parked alongside the Long Island Expressway in Manorville near County Road 111. Police have also been searching with K9 units near Wading River Road, Schultz Street, and North Street. This is significant because remains of 2 of the Gilgo Beach victims, Jessica Taylor and Valerie Mack, were found in Manorville not far from here over 20 years ago. Parts of their bodies were also uncovered along Ocean Parkway. Right now, the only thing law enforcement will confirm is that Suffolk Police, State Police, and the NYPD are assisting the Suffolk District Attorney's Office in an ongoing investigation. The murders of Mack and Taylor remain unsolved, and it's important to keep in mind that Gilgo Beach suspect Rex Hewerman has not been charged in either of their murders.
Developing story on Long Island this afternoon. Searchers are back out with dogs today, once again in Manorville. It's actually their 3rd day now looking for potential evidence in the Gilgo Beach serial murder investigation. Let's get out to News 4's Greg Sergel. He's covered this story from the start, live in Manorville, with what we've learned about some of the search the past few days here and now today, Greg.
Well, Natalie, behind me, you can see the 2 command posts that police have set up here at the Manorville Fire Department. Earlier today, this parking lot was filled with police vehicles, all taking part in a search that police officials and Suffolk prosecutors have declined to fully explain. K9 units spent another day here in Manorville.
All right, I had to go for a second, so I had to play you 2 videos. Angela says, one that stole the kid if it wasn't. Oh, yeah. Like I said, we read about 100 a week. There was the Australian one. Could be. This is very interesting to me that they are researching areas where Valerie Mack was located. I wonder what they are doing out there. I find this quite interesting. You would have thought it's been how long? 20 years since they found those two ladies, and they're back out in Manorville. So scattered across a preserve near Wadding River, Manorville, canine unit was also on the scene. Suffolk County District Attorney's Office would not confirm that the search is related to the Gilgo Beach investigation. However, the DA's office did say Suffolk County Police and New York State Police and the NYPD are all assisting the DA with the ongoing investigation. So it was Jessica Taylor and Valerie Mack who were found in Manorville. The rest of their remains were found along Ocean Parkway. So they were, dismembered. Rex Heuermann, who is accused of the killings of other Gilgo Beach victims, has not been charged in the deaths of Mack or Taylor at this time. There is no word yet from officials if those victims are connected to the recent search. Do they think there's maybe more bones out there? Like, they searched Gilgo Beach and that stretch of ocean extensively. Like, we've seen the videos, right? Everyone has seen the giant search they did there, like 3 different times. One before the winter. Was it before the winter? It was one near the start of the year. Then they did another one in December of the same year when the bodies were found. And they've been back there like 4 times, searching different parts of scrubland and near where they found some of the other victims. So interesting that they're back at Manorville. I wonder what could be out there. More bones? Maybe they're looking for more parts of people that they are missing. I'm not sure. Hold on, let me see if we can find any more information about it. Like, I can't believe that it's almost 1 year since Rex Heuermann was arrested. Can you? That flew by. When was that? Heuermann arrested. It was around this time last year, right? 2023. It'd be nice if you guys gave me a date. Stupid Google search. Was arrested and charged. Was it like 14th of July? Something like that. Murder suspect Rex Heuermann in custody. Yeah, maybe like July or something. So we're almost at a year. And this particular case was one of mine on a top shelf that I was like, they screwed up so badly in the original investigation. And then with all the issues that Suffolk County PD had, I was like, there's no way they're going to solve it. They've pissed away evidence, and they did such a crap job of not wanting to solve it. But no, they luckily had a group of great police come in and really put a lot of effort in to get it done. This trial coming up will be amazing. I can't wait to hear some more details about how they pieced it together. I think a lot of people are waiting for that. July 13th, 2024. Polly says July 14th for me because it would have been the next day in Australia. Laura T says, thanks, Jenny. Yeah, thanks, Jenny. I appreciate it. Let me grab one more. Let me see if I can get anything else about the search today, as I would like to know more about it. Where is it? That was on Wednesday. Well, today's not Wednesday. Alleged Gilgo Beach is in court. Yeah, works to set trial date. Let's have a look. Did we get a trial date? No. So the judge has stated in court that he wants all discovery turned over to the defense by the end of July, which makes sense. That would make it 12 months from his arrest period. In the meantime, Heuermann's estranged wife was present for his court appearance. She has a TV documentary coming out at some point. I don't know when that'll actually come out for his ex-wife, but I'm wondering if we won't see that until after trial. I wonder if they want to get her reaction to the actual trial process. Yeah, it's moving. The train is moving for Heuermann. Mello says, I went on vacation there. I can't believe I'm walking around the financial district. Oy, oy, oy. All right, my ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if I can get you another story for tonight. Just keeping an eye on the time. I don't want people being up so late. Cheryl Turner? Who sent this to me? I think this might have been DJ.
Well, an arrest is made in connection with part of a body that was found in the Ouachita River. Good evening to you. I'm Jennifer Andrews. Jasmine Bingham joins us now with the update. Jasmine?
Jennifer, West Monroe police say the suspect admitted to later dismembering the body of the woman in his home. Catahoula Parish Sheriff's Office say in January, the torso of a body identified as Cheryl Turner of New Iberia was found in the Ouachita River. West Monroe police investigators say her family believes she became involved in a romantic relationship over text messages with someone from West Monroe. Through forensic data and surveillance, the suspect was identified as Anthony Holland Jr. West Monroe police arrested him yesterday. They say he has admitted to killing her and putting her remains in water that feeds into the Ouachita River. A man who lives at the apartments where Holland lived says he's in shock.
We've been kind of scared all day. We're talking about, trying to maybe find a new place. It definitely leaves a feeling of uneasiness. Didn't see a body, just saw a mattress that had like a blood stain on it. So that it really confirmed the suspicions that we were kind of fearing, that it looked like it was somebody who was murdered over there.
Holland was booked into the Ouachita Parish Correctional Center for one count of second-degree murder. Both Catahoula Sheriff and West Monroe police say the investigation is continuing.
Carroll High School was on lockdown for a while today.
I don't know where Danny is. Maybe sound asleep on a Friday night, enjoying his slumber. Have I heard of Ellen Greenberg? I haven't, but I looked it up. What a weird case. Hold on. Sorry, I didn't want my cat to jump up here. I'm like, don't jump up. We're doing stuff. But this case that we just looked at, man admits to dismembering body in West Monroe home. I mean, the victim's torso was found in the river in January 2024. See, it says here, on January 2024, the human remains were found. The remains were later identified belonging to Cheryl Turner, 19, of New Iberia. Turner's family said she went to the parish to stay with someone she met online. They said they last heard from her on January 2nd. And then they arrested this dude. Oh, that's interesting. Have you ever seen a sign like this on a person who's been arrested? All persons are presumed innocent until proven guilty. I can't say I've ever seen that type of sign on an arrested person. They're saying here the WMPD said they served search warrants at Holland's home on April 23rd. Forensic evidence of a crime was taken for investigation, and WNPD said Holland admitted during an interview to dismembering Turner inside his home and then putting her remains in a body of water feeding into the I'm going to pronounce it wrong. Is it Ouachita River? Holland was arrested on one count of second-degree murder. Second degree? I don't know. I like to think when I often dismember women and throw them into rivers that if police ever caught me, I'd probably get done with, first-degree homicide or first-degree murder. It's pretty weak, a second-degree count. Hopefully they upgrade that as the investigation continues. It says the WMPD said they would like to thank the CPSO for their work on the investigation, the Louisiana Office of the Attorney General, and the 4th Judicial District's Attorney's Office. The investigation is ongoing. There you go. There's the guy who was arrested, Holland Jr., arrested in the connection with the investigation into human remains found in the river. I mean, you have to have some big boy pants to go dismember someone and throw them in the river. I mean, odd. You need to send me pics of your cats for the pet crimes. My cats are literally like serial killers, and if you ask Danny, Danny would tell you they are involved in everything that goes wrong on this channel. The UK had a school stabbing the other day. The UK has such a big problem with knife crime, especially to do with things like adolescent male, not even gang activity, just I don't know what you want to call it, like just males of that age between early teen years to early adulthood. There's just a lot of like, stabbing each other. It happens in Australia too, but not as bad. And then they have the gang stuff on top of it in the UK where, what they call it, like drill rap. And I mean, I like drill rap. Some of it's pretty good. But to know that a lot of those lyrics are taken from actual crimes that people have committed where they've stabbed someone is very, very, hard to hear. A girl stabbed 2 teachers and a kid. Really? I didn't hear about that one. 2 teachers. And then I'm going to look at the one that, the one I looked up. Hold on. We're getting away from ourselves. The one that Jenny suggested. I'll do this and I'll do the one that Jenny wanted me to look at. 2 teachers stabbed in the UK. Teen girl arrested after a student and 2 teachers were stabbed at a school in Wales. Okay. They even made it to the news in Australia. Apparently, I know this is American ABC. I was like, wow, it made it all the way here to Australia. But no, it didn't. So let's have a look. No, that's not anything to do with it. Teenage girl arrested after a student and 2 teachers were stabbed at a school in Wales. Police in the UK say a teenage girl has been arrested on suspicion of attempted murder after stabbing a student and 2 teachers at a secondary school in Wales. Wow. All 3 victims were expected to survive their wounds after being taken to hospital following the attack at Armand Valley School in Armandford. A teenage girl has been arrested on suspicion of attempted murder and currently remains in police custody. A knife was recovered from the scene. Evans didn't disclose details of what happened or provide any information about the suspect, but he said the incident was over and the children had left the school. Okay. And Jonathan Edwards, an independent member of parliament from the area, said that a student was stabbed and the teachers were wounded when they tried to intervene. Edwards said that one teacher was treated for injuries to the arm and hand, and the other was transferred to a hospital in Cardiff for more serious injuries. Wow. Yeah, teachers, it's almost like we don't respect teachers anymore. And it's almost like teachers are the front line to a lot of this type of adolescent violence because unfortunately schools end up being the battleground, or you end up with children that have behavioral issues and they lash out, or I just feel like they got so much to deal with that they shouldn't have to deal with being stabbed as well. Poor teachers. I'm glad they're going to survive. Armand Valley. Okay. Yeah, I saw that. Thanks, Angela, for showing me that. I can't believe that 2 teachers and a child were stabbed at a like what do they call it? A middle? Is that like a middle school? What do they call this one? They called it a. They didn't call it anything. Okay. Oh, a secondary school. What's that? Like teenagers, right? Secondary school in Wales. What year level is that? Cardiff sixth form. Ages 11 to 14, 7 to 11. So about 7 to 14. Okay. So they could be anywhere from 7 to 14 years of age. Then they must go to high school after that. All right. All right, let's get to this one that was suggested. It is very odd. And I'm going to show you something about it. Hold on, let me grab it. Let me close this. I want to try find that one that was suggested. It is a weird one. I was reading through the autopsy while we're watching another show. Here, it's here. Suicide ruling upheld for Philly teacher found with 20 stab wounds, but judges slammed deeply flawed investigation. It says here, oh, we got a little Fox video we'll watch. It'll say it better than I can.
Help! I need everything out. I just walked to my apartment. My fiance's on the floor with blood everywhere. I went downstairs to go work out. I came back up. The door was latched. My fiance's inside. She wasn't answering. So after about a half hour, I decided to break it down. I see her now just on the floor with blood. Like she's not responding.
Let's go back a little bit. Apparently, he just didn't run up there, break down the door and go in. We came up to the door. He was there on the phone for maybe 45 minutes. So he's not really making an effort if somebody's on the other side of the door to bring them aid, is he?
How do you know that?
I'm going to refer that question to Mr. Brennan and to Mr. Pedroza.
Part, if not all, of the emergency call was conducted from the hallway.
He was seen pacing in the hall. You look at the 911 call, you look at the scene, it just doesn't jive. He had those lines practiced before he made entry into the apartment.
I think that Sam had a lot of it memorized of what he was supposed to be doing at the time. He went downstairs to the gym, he came back upstairs, the door was latched, he said it twice. So I think it seemed rehearsed. I didn't think it seemed genuine at all.
Wait, it was just you there with her?
We're the only ones here.
Then latched it shut?
No, I went downstairs to work out, and when I came back up, the door was latched.
Oh.
Like it was, it wasn't like it was, it was like locked from the inside.
Well, was your house
and
broken into?
No.
So there's no sign of a break-in?
No sign of a break-in at all. I mean, there will be when you get here because I had to break the latch, but.
All right. I know that one jumped back in time. It says here, the family of Ellen Greenberg, 27, has fought for more than a decade to overturn the city's ruling over the death of the teacher, whose corpse was riddled with stab wounds, including 10 to the back of the head and the neck. Now, I read in her Wikipedia, they reckon that one of the wounds actually entered her brain and spinal column. And then a expert said, there's no way you could do that to yourself even more than once because of the pain level, that apparently it would be intense pain and it couldn't be an S word. Sorry, we can't say it. We'll get the video will end up having like 10 different warnings all over it that apparently I'm teaching everyone, to do that activity. So we can't really say it anymore, but you guys get what I mean. It says here, her family hired a team of experts in the aftermath of her death who pointed out that a knife in her apartment was overturned, possibly suggesting that she had been involved in a struggle, and a gash on the back of her head may have rendered her unconscious and unable to defend herself. Her family also questioned why she filled up her gas tank before coming home and didn't leave a note indicating that she had planned to, leave from this world. The appellate panel ruled Wednesday that Greenberg's parents, Joshua and Sandra, lacked the standing for a civil suit, but the judge criticized the city police, prosecutors, and medical examiner's office and pathologists for blunders made in their investigation. The facts surrounding this matter are extremely disturbing, and parents' tireless efforts over the past 12 years to learn exactly what happened to their daughter on the evening of January 26, 2011 warrant our sincere sympathy. This is a photo of Ellen right here. Found dead in her home with 20 stab wounds. So here's a demonstration, a rendering of some of those injuries to her, including this one here that I think this is the one they said that might have entered her brain. And this might be one of the ones that entered her spinal column. I mean, I don't understand how you do that to yourself. Is that even possible? I don't know. That is pretty brutal. It almost looks like something out of an anime, like, like out of an anime TV show where they throw all the knives and swords at each other and they're, goes crazy. I've never heard of anything like this in true crime. You know who would be great to ask about this particular case, and I don't know if he's done it yet or not. It's Mr. Bodybags. Mr. Bodybags would know all about this. He'd know all about it. He would be Mr. Joseph Scott Morgan. If there's one man who could explain this to you, it might be him. He's very, very good. The experts they have enlisted have all raised serious factual questions about Dr. Osborne and Dr. Galino's conclusions, and even then, the medical examiner's office now concedes that there is no dispute that evidence in the record could support other conclusions about the manner of her death. Caesar slammed Osborne in particular over his initial conclusion that Greensburg's death was a homicide, which came after the crime scene had been cleaned up before police could arrive. The panel added there was no record of officers interviewing the company that had cleaned up the crime scene, the building manager, or the police department representative who told the manager to hire a cleanup crew. Joe Pedraza, the family's attorney, added that the building manager had taken video of the crime scene prior to the cleanup and gave it to police, but the video is unaccounted for. Of course it is. It just disappeared into the ether of evidence. It says here, previously claimed the evidence showed that at least 2 of the 20 stab wounds were inflicted after Greensburg's heart had already stopped beating. Yes, I often like to die and then stab myself again. It happens quite frequently. It says here, the attorney slammed the appellate court's ruling as a failure to find justice for a murder victim. The majority opinion is a roadmap on how to commit murder and not be held accountable. The most astounding aspect of the opinion you have, as I read it, 3 judges saying this young woman was murdered. The investigation is grossly flawed and embarrassing. There is a murderer or murderers out there, but our hands are tied and nobody can do anything except the government officials and therefore subject to their whims. There's her in a wedding shop. She was set to marry her fiancé Sam Goldberg, who discovered her body. A spokesman for the city said officials are sympathetic to the Greensburg family, but pleased with the court's decision. Greensburg parents plan to appeal the decision to the state Supreme Court. Her death is being reviewed by the Chester County District Attorney's Office, with the family pursuing a separate civil lawsuit alleging a cover-up over her death. I'll have to look more into this, but really weird. That photo paints a picture. It really does. I don't know how you could do this to your own body. I mean, I know there's people that have done, stabbing themselves or whatever. They've ended their own existence that way. But in the back of the head, how do you do that? And up here, I'm very concerned that someone has missed something dramatically in this particular case, although I don't know a lot about it. Mind of Monsters on YouTube has done a campaign to raise money to put up a billboard in Philadelphia. Send me the link to that, sundaywithping@gmail.com. I will put it up too on my social media. I'll happily help the family raise money for that. Marlon Clausen says, how do you stab yourself in the back? And especially in the brain part up here or in your spinal column here. Hold on, I'll show you where I found it. I won't just say I saw, and will not give you the evidence. Hold on. I will show you where I found it. Where is it? Ellen Greenberg. They had a medical examiner saying that it was almost impossible to do that to yourself. Where is it? Here. Here. One significant point of contention were the stab wounds that penetrated Greensburg's brain. Y&K Ross wrote that the stab wounds to the brain and spinal cord would have caused severe pain, cranial nerve dysfunction, and traumatic brain injuries. The original medical report stated that neuropathologist Lucy Rourke Adams had determined there was no such wound. However, when interviewed by the Philadelphia Inquirer, Rourke Adams stated that it was possible. She saw the body and made comments as she had contracts with the medical examiner during the time. Greensberg's body was observed, however, no records of the examination, therefore could not confirm any reports in question. Sounds very suspicious. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense here. Yeah, stab wounds that penetrated her brain and stab wounds that penetrated her spinal cord would have caused severe pain, cranial nerve dysfunction, and traumatic brain injuries. And how do you do that to yourself? More than one time. I get it if you did it once somehow, but then to remove the knife and then insert it several more times to cause even more pain, I don't know about that. I mean, people have done some weird things before, and that's why you have to be careful, but I don't know about this. Cranial nerve dysfunction and traumatic brain injuries. I don't know. I've never seen that before, but doesn't mean it hasn't happened. If you were going to remove yourself from this earth, wouldn't you choose the fastest way possible? Or the way in which, I have to word it carefully because YouTube will come for me. The way in which it would be less traumatizing to you, right? That's our natural instinct in life. Our natural instinct is to self-preserve even in death. So I would be the fact that there's just so many in the back is very strange. She already finished the campaign. Okay. Well, let me know how it goes. If you hear of it going up or you can get a photo, email it to me and I'll still post it. I would love to. Does anyone know if Joe has done it? Since Nancy Grace did it on her show, I wonder if he has done it. Hold on, let's have a look. Body bags. I mean, we know Joe. I know Joe. I can email us. I wonder if he'll do it. I mean, I don't know Joe. I know Joe through Trish and that, but I wonder if he would be willing to talk about it. Even if it's on Trish's channel, if we could ask him to have a talk about it. Let's see. Joseph Scott Morgan. I wonder if he's done it. I wouldn't be surprised if he has. I mean, it's been 10 years. I would not be surprised. Alan Greenberg. All right, let's have a look. Okay, he has done it. He has done it. It's on an episode called Behind the Locked Door, Justice for Ellen Body Bags with Joseph Scott Morgan. So if you want to listen to that, go listen to Joseph on Body Bags and subscribe to Body Bags. I know they're trying to keep #1 in all true crime. So try do that for him. He's a great guy. It looks like he also did something live from CrimeCon Las Vegas when they did CrimeCon Las Vegas in 2022. It looks like he did a panel on the death of Ellen Greenberg. I don't remember. I watched him on. I'll have to look into that. I thought I watched him at CrimeCon in 2022. I'll have to research that. But I'll give you a link to Apple Podcast for Joseph. And you guys can see his opinion. There you go. I'll put it here. sundaywithping@gmail.com. There you go. There's my email. No, that's not it. Ping, you got to type correctly. Why can't you type correctly, Ping? Let me do it properly. Hold on. Did I get it right? Yay, there we go. And there's the link for Joseph Scott Morgan. Let's see. Is that lady, the lady who Debbie? Is she the one that she was found dead outside of the drug rehab place a couple of years ago, and that she had the fire on her stomach? Is that the right lady? What is her name? Deborah Green? No, that's not her name. Debbie Collier. Is that right? Debbie Collier? 80% burns to her body. I mean, that case was. I still don't understand that one completely, but they said her death was ruled a S word. And she had burns to 80% of her body. Did we ever find out what this meant? They are not going to let me go, love you. Did we ever find out what that meant? Did that end up meaning that she wasn't going to be accepted into the rehab? I know that at one point that was a theory floating around. Hold on. Sorry, had to cough. It's been a long time since I've looked at this particular death. It's been a while. Yeah, at least a year, maybe longer. But I remember how wrapped up people were trying to figure all this out. And they thought she'd been murdered, and people saw her at the dollar store, and then they thought it was her daughter that murdered her for money or something. And then they said, I remember that message. Everyone was really concerned about this Cash App message. They're not going to let me go, love you. And then people were breaking it down, and they were like, well, maybe it's bad punctuation, and maybe it's supposed to be a full stop here and a comma here. And if you rearrange the words, it's actually a secret message that the Beatles are really in line with the devil. And if you play their record backwards, you'll find out the cause of death for Debbie Collier. It was a little mental. It was a little crazy at the time. Yeah, Pretty Lies and Alibis with Gigi. I'm on here, like, what do we do every day? At least 3 hours a day we do have live streams on here. And then when I'm not here, I'm doing research for the following day, or making videos or exit videos, so I don't have a ton of time to watch other creators, but I know that she does some great work with Pretty Lies and Alibis. I will watch it if I get a chance. I will. Yeah, I know, but there was some. He was. That's true. He does a great job. Gray does a really good job. Gambler said, I thought it was her daughter's boyfriend was in the drug rehab. Yeah, but I think if you find here, let me grab this link. Here. Oh, that is the link. Where is it? Yeah. The report states Collier died from inhalation of superheated gases, thermal injuries, and hydrocodone intoxication. Collier often took the painkiller hydrocodone as prescribed by her doctor due to a prolonged back injury. I don't know if that's why people thought she might be going to rehab to get off the hydrocodone, but that was one of the theories I did read at one point. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else here. Medical examiner said Collier was discovered with third-degree burns to her face, charred portions of her scalp, and charred leathery skin throughout her body. 80% burns to her body. I can't think of a more horrible way to go. The autopsy report also doesn't explain how the death was ruled a suicide. Damn it, Ping. You can't say that word. Beyond a quick line that states investigation by law enforcement reveals circumstances consistent with self-intentioned act and that she was alone at the time of the incident. I think the only person that may ever know what happened is Debbie. I think maybe this is one of those ones where I don't think we'll ever fully know, which is very sad, extremely sad. Like, what was she doing down there at the river, and why did she end up setting herself on fire? Very sad. I remember when this was a huge, huge case a couple of years ago. How sad. That's all right. I appreciate it. I don't mean to be like I'm so busy that I can't watch other people and I'm such a snob. I just mean like I get bogged down with work for the channel and I barely get stuff done during the day for the stuff I want to do. I try to look up as many cases as I can. Gambler says I thought it was about we read that. Hey Gambler, good to see you. Hey Snarks, how are you, my friend? I think her death was more likely an accident than an intentional act. That's a really terrible way to go. I agree. 80% burns. Oh my god, that poor lady. I like Iggy. I see her on. Is it Lauren Crime? She does the segment on. I see her sometimes when I watch coverage. She does. She does a great job. Yeah. Hi Marilyn and Laura. He does a great job. I love his technical work. I wish I was 10% as proficient with mapping as Gray was, but I'm not. He is very good at it. He is very, very good at that type of thing. Maybe one day. Maybe one day I'll get there. Hold on. Let me see if I can find anything else about. By the way, the NFL draft was on over the last couple of days. I hope your team got the player. If you follow the NFL, I hope your team got the player that you wanted and you think it'll get you a Super Bowl. Congratulations. I hope your team does well in 2024. As for me, I think my 49ers did a crap job. I think they didn't get anyone that any fan thought they should. And it's a very poor draft by the 49ers. All right. Let me see if we've got anything here. I was watching Ikidmel earlier a little bit. He was on Twitter, and I was seeing that that van thing. I don't know if you guys saw that van in LA with the cops. Actually, I got something here. I took some screenshots from KTLA earlier while I was watching it live of the cops like trying to get to the van. I'll show you here. So these cops were all here. They were trying to get to the white van. And then all of a sudden they ran up to the window. I don't know what they did. And then 2 seconds later, they all retreated. You can see him running. This guy's running back this way. And then he opens the door of the this SUV cop car. And then he gets behind it and he has his gun drawn. I don't know what ended up happening. I stopped watching. But this was, I know Ikidmel was doing it. And there's another photo here. Got a photo of the van. You can see here that they shredded the tires with a stop stick. They put it across the road and then it shredded the tires. And then there's these holes in the window. Are they bullets? Did they shoot the window or? I didn't actually see. Let's have a look. KTLA. I don't know what happened in the end. Suspect standoff shuts down 91 highway. Let's have a look.
Well, good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us on the web. This is Gil Davis up in Sky 5 along with my pilot, David Viskovich. We are over a barricaded standoff situation here. In this white van is a kidnapping suspect. Long Beach Police Department tried to pull this van over, and the van took off on them, starting a pursuit that stopped and started different locations.
Okay. So it was like a kidnapping suspect. The suspect fled Long Island Beach officers on a pursuit before pulling over on the on-ramp to the southbound 710 freeway near Alondra Boulevard in Compton around 4:15 p.m. However, he refused to come out and moved into the rear portion of the van, barricading himself inside. All lanes of the southbound 710 freeway were shut down before reopening around 5:30 p.m. Traffic, however, was still backed up for miles as after-work commuters hit the streets. Oh no. A spike strip was set up in front of the van. Around 6 p.m., patrol units started backing away, and the spike strip was removed as a suspect suddenly drove off. The front driver's side tire was deflated, and he drove down the freeway before taking the next exit at Long Beach Boulevard. He pulled over on the on-ramp, got out of the van, and began running down the shoulder of the freeway. He then turned back around and returned to the van to inspect the vehicle. Some people, man. Just keep running, bro. Long Beach police later confirmed that a female victim reported she had been kidnapped by a man, but officers later determined that a kidnapping did not actually happen, which is why the driver was initially allowed to leave. However, minutes after the suspect pulled over again, 4 patrol cars pulled up behind the van. They attempted to speak with the suspect before he suddenly drove off again, leading to the westbound 91 freeway. Officers used 2 pit maneuvers to finally disable the van on the freeway shoulder. Police surrounded the suspect as 3 of the van's tires were deflated. Several non-lethal rounds were fired at the passenger window. That's where the holes came from that you guys might be able to see still. Yeah, there you go. It's still up. So they were from beanbag rounds from a gun. He covered the shattered window with a large blanket and a cardboard box as the standoff continued. Officers armed with shields and weapons approached the van and opened the back doors, dragging the suspect outside. The man was tackled on the ground before police took him into custody around 7:40 p.m. Pacific time. He was placed onto a gurney and then transported to a local hospital for medical evaluation. His identity has not been released and the incident remains under investigation. That is the most confusing incident ever. So did he actually kidnap someone or not? And then if he didn't kidnap someone, what the hell? Why were they chasing him? So did he actually do anything wrong? That is very confusing. That is a weird situation. A man was arrested at hours-long standoff. All right, let me see if I can find any reason that he would have been arrested. Hold on.
Breaking news right now, a standoff happening in Compton with a possible kidnapping suspect.
And Desmond Shaw is live overhead in SkyCal with more. Des?
Yeah, Pat and Chauncey, this is at Alondra and the 710, right at the beginning of the on-ramp to the southbound 710 from Alondra. You can see authorities here. They have this van. This van is stopped right here. It is a alleged kidnapping suspect that is inside. We have reason to believe that the victim is not in that white van with the suspect. As we zoom in, you can see Planet Tree Service Incorporated. That's the words written on the side of the van.
Trading Mall says there was a child abducted from Compton. They said in the article that they said it was a female. Long Beach police later confirmed that a female victim reported she'd been kidnapped by a man, but officials later determined that a kidnapping did not actually happen, which is why the driver was initially allowed to leave. I don't know. It's not clear. They just said the investigation is ongoing. Okay, we'll see tomorrow when they do a press conference on it, whether he actually abducted anyone or not. Kidnapping suspect causes 2 standoffs and shutdowns freeway in South LA. NBC Los Angeles. Yeah, police said their investigation later determined that a kidnapping did not occur. Police said a woman near Artesia Boulevard and Myrtle Avenue told reporters shortly before 4 p.m. that she'd been kidnapped by a man in a vehicle. Officers located a man matching the description given and tried to detain the individual. Refusing to comply, the man evaded officers and instigated a pursuit. The chase finally came to an end after officers performed a pit maneuver on the vehicle after it was on the westbound 91 freeway in Compton. As officers continued to investigate the kidnapping, the facts revealed that the crime of kidnapping had not occurred. Authorities did not release the name of the driver involved in the chase. So there you go. That's the latest. That was under an hour ago. So whatever happened, I have no idea. Was there a kidnapping? Apparently not. So why did they total that dude's van? And does he have a claim to the city to replace his property? I will be interested to know that. All right, we better wind up for the night, everyone. It's so late. Hey, I'm going to be back tomorrow. Tomorrow night is Cold Justice. Saturday night. Tomorrow's Cold Justice is a two-parter leading into the end of season 7. It is a really interesting case. We looked it up last week. It is a quadruple homicide. Quadruple homicide, and we're going to learn more about it tomorrow night. I know a lot of people in the chat already know about this particular murder. It is from South Carolina, and it's a family. And I'm going to try to find the people involved. Now, I can't show you the article like I normally do because it'll give away the ending. But the people involved are Kathy Scott, 60 years old, Michael Scott, 59 years old, Barbara Scott, 80 years old, and Violet Taylor, 82, were murdered on Halloween night in 2015 in the victim's Refuge Road home in Pendleton. We're going to have that and more tomorrow night. Cold Justice. I think it's episode... Oh, this is interesting, actually. Oh, wow. Okay, so that's episode 10. That'll be tomorrow night. Episode 11 is the following. It's part 2. So part 2 will be next week. But this is something I don't think I've ever seen Cold Justice ever do. It is a special episode, season 7, episode 12, from Lost to Light, a Cold Justice update special. Kelly's actually going to come on and give updates for different cases, which I don't think Cold Justice has ever done an update show. Sorry, I wanted to cough. Yeah, I don't think she's ever done an update show. Cold Justice is on Oxygen TV, Oxygen TV channel. Angela, email me on my email. I'll show you how to watch it from the UK. Cold Justice Sunday with... Yeah, I'm going to be really interested in that. They have never ever done an update show, ever. As far as I know, not, or at least not recently, they haven't. And a lot of fans of the show were asking for it because, of course, people want to know how cases that they've had arrests on, or cases where they've promised that the DA is working to try to get it solved and press charges or whatever, which they say when they fail. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. Can't wait for that. That'll be a good one. But yes, Anderson County Sheriff's Office quadruple homicide on Halloween night in 2015. That's tomorrow night's episode. It airs at 8 p.m. Eastern on Oxygen Network in the US. It airs 3 or 4 hours later on Pacific. There's a Pacific channel, Oxygen Pacific or whatever you call the Western one. Yes, tomorrow night's part 1. Part 2 is the following week, episode 11. So part 1's called Season 7, Episode 10, House of Horrors, Part 1. Next week is Season 7, Episode 11, House of Horrors, Part 2. And then 2 weeks from now, yes, or 3 weeks or whatever, 3 episodes from now, it'll be Season 7, Episode 12, From Lost to Light, a Cold Justice update special. Says Kelly shares exclusive updates on past cases, answers most asked questions, and catches up with family members and fan favorite cops. So that'll be a really good one. I don't know, maybe. I don't know if that... I'm guessing that's the end of the show for the year. I don't think we're going to get any more episodes past the update special. But I come on as soon as the East Coast premiere has finished at 9 p.m. I'll be on, and we go from there. I'll give you the update that I can find, and we'll look at some of the court documents from the episode. Hey, I really appreciate you all. Thank you for coming out so late tonight. I know I was very late after having a break for about 1 day. But I will be back tomorrow night at our normal time. Let me just upload my new ending video with the nice people who donate to this channel. That's the least I can do for them, is make sure their name is updated. Which was 2 days ago. It was Laurie A, Marjorie, Lindy, Sean A. Thank you very much, Sean. And my friend, love is a 4-letter word. Appreciate it to all those people. Thank you. I appreciate it. Glad to see you in the chat. Thank you very much for coming to the channel. I appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow night, 9 p.m. That's it from me. Ping live from Melbourne, Australia. Peace out. Have a great rest of your Friday night. We'll be back for Saturday night, Cold Justice at 9 p.m. Eastern. See you later, everyone. Good night.